Good day, Azazel here. Today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to refine gear. This is a Fearless archimendae ring that I just made. I have maxed out its stars. That's the first thing you want to do. So to refine a piece of gear, you need gems, gold, and refined stones. Today I'm going to go through with you guys how I am going to refine my own Fearless archimendae ring. Okay, so for this one piece of gear, I'm planning to pretty much use all the nearly 10,000 refined stones I have, and I could probably use 60 million gold quite easy. We'll see how that goes. I am not sure how much gems I'll use to start with. The goal is to get the best refined possible first. To start with, refines like these. If I save that, it won't do anything. The maximum is 25%. So I want something that is probably for the first one, a minimum of 22 to 25% before I lock it. Alright, so I'll confirm this. Right, and how you lock it is simple. You simply need to press these. So, for example, that is now locked. Now it is unlocked, locked, unlocked. Okay, I do not want to lock that. These are very poor refines. So let's keep going. I have mounted trip load. None of these are good. Cancel, refine. I have 7% range trip attack. Still bad. Cancel, refine. These are bad. Cancel, refine. I'm getting a lot of ground here. Cancel, refine. When you get something that's like reasonable, you can kind of sit with it for a bit. That's when you can think about saving it and just keeping it as a base in case you don't get any good refines. As you can see, I've already used 2,000 refined stones, and that is it's going to go very fast. So here we have a very broad one. I'm just going to keep that, but I want something like this. I want something like this to start with, but I want ranged, not mounted. It's a very good mounted start, but I don't want that. It's very poor for me. But I will confirm this. I'll keep that as a backup in case I decide to make this into a mounted ring instead. That was not my intention. Okay, cancel, refine. Cancel, refine. Cancel, refine. Here we go. Alright, now I'm going to confirm that one, and I'm actually going to lock that. Now, before I did ask for a 22 to 25%, but reality is that it's very hard to get, and I'm better off simply locking it as a go, and I want to aim for near perfection, but that is very good, it's within 5%. So here we go again. I have a couple extra range trip attacks. So I'm out of trip attack and range trip attack. I'll lock it, but I won't save that one. Cancel, refine. So now I'm aiming for about a 17 to 25% bonus. I'm not aiming for perfection. You want to make sure the first one you get is as close to perfection as possible, and from that you want to aim for the next best thing. As you can see right now, each time we refine is 2,000 gems. It is very expensive. So this is why I don't want to be wasting too much time trying to get perfection on every single refine. Here we got a nice ranged attack. Just going to save it in case I don't get any better. To just going to keep going. There's a very good chance I won't refine this entirely with the remaining 3,000 refined stones, but let's give it a try. I saved up a lot for this video. Geez, that's nice for a ground attack, but ground attack is not what I need. That's nice siege machine load. Ground trip attack. That's a very nice ground trip attack. Give me ranged, please. Now, here we go. Okay. This is a medium refine. It's 16.5 out of 25. I would almost not lock that. But because I'm in this session, I am expecting to not have as much refined stones as I want to make a close to perfection thing. I'm going to go over that later, take the losses for the greater now gain. But in the future, I would prefer going for a closer to perfection system, because that's going to hold me back for getting super high end buffs later on. And that is it. If this was a piece of dragon gear, I could have probably fully refined that, but because archimendae gear requires 200 refined stones, it is very difficult. Now, unfortunately, I didn't get any super high-end refines. The 19.6 that's acceptable. The 16.5 is medium. The 7.1% is pretty much crap. It's not worth anything. Nothing for even on a dragon gear. That's not worth anything. For dragon gear, these two are exceptional. But for dragon gear, 7% is utter trash. I wouldn't even put that on my fourth refine. It is a little bit in the future. I refined a bit more. It is a day later, and I refined a bit more. As you can see, I have, instead of making this a range general ring, I've made it a mounted and ranged ring that is quite suitable for Electro. The 1000 base stat and the 24.1% refines, they happened in a single roll, and I decided that is a very high-end refine, and I decided to keep it for now. Eventually, I will make a Fearless archimendae ring that is I'll make this probably all ranged, but I'm going to wait for a extremely high and range troop buff to roll before I think about removing those two high mounted mounted attacks. To conclude the video, right? You want your first refine for the arcade ring or arcade gear or Ares gear to be at least 22% or higher. This is the cheapest refine. You don't need to use gems for it. Therefore, you want it to be the best. For dragon, you want 17%. For the second refine, you want a minimum of about 20%, right? You want to lower your standard just a little bit, right? Because you're using gems now each time you lock it. And because you're already locking it, you're using a lot of gems, and it gets quite expensive. For dragon, you're aiming for about 15% for your second refine. Third, for archimendae, you want about 18%, and dragon, you want about 14%. The fourth, you want it for dragon. For the fourth, for archimendae, you want about 16%. For dragon, you want about 12%. These values are estimates. They can vary. They're not set in stone. Right? As you can see through this video, they are not set in stone. You can do what you want, but the key thing to remember is whatever standard you're going for, have a step downwards, because the later ones will cost you a lot more if you're sticking to a very high standard. And you got to remember, you have other gear to refine before you focus on a single gear to be maximized. This is why it's very important to step down the refines. Don't aim for perfection at first. Come back later, get perfection. I know it might cost you more refined stones in the future, but to start with, right? To start with, it is quintessential because you need your buffs earlier, as early as possible, on as much gear as possible. In my honest recommendation for archimendae gear, I would actually say, instead of worrying about the step down, actually almost aim for the straight 22% plus on all refines, but keep the step down with dragon. Right? Dragon is an intermediate gear, it is not an endgame gear. You can upgrade that dragon to Ares, right? That Ares gear is going to have the same stat limit as arcade gear. And because of that, you absolutely need to not worry about perfecting your dragon gear, because those refines will become redundant. Right? As you can see, the best dragon refine on average will probably try to be your third best archimendae or Ares refine. So if you were to upgrade your dragon gear straight to Ares gear, I would highly not recommend it. I would simply say make a new piece of dragon gear, upgrade that to Ares gear, and then refine it from scratch. Keep your old dragon piece of gear, put that on your defense general, put that on another general, right? Keep it. You don't want to waste the refined stones and gems you put into it. It is not worth it. Got to remember, dragon gear is only an intermediate piece as well. It is not end game. It might seem like end game, but the fact is, if you're playing against K33, K35 keeps, you will not really hold your own with dragon gear. You need archimendae gear for the debuffs, and you need it for the straight buffs. There's no two ways around it. That's just how it is. Thank you for listening. If you like my content, please give me a like, share, or subscribe. Just remember that these videos, the ones I'm releasing early, these ones are rough. I'm simply just trying to get the content out there. I'm not worried about editing and doing so much to make it visually appealing at first. I just want people to be educated. I want them to learn. I want them to play the game. I want them to have fun. That's my first priority before I do too much editing and aim for a visually appealing channel. This is done with simply a couple apps, and I hope I'm getting the content out there to you as best as I can. I'm mostly doing these off like a freestyle type of system. I'm not actually reading out anything or following any processes. This is just how I do stuff myself. Thank you. Have a good day.